It is Sarah Tagg here. It is now something like week 5 of lockdown, could be week 6, could be week 3. We could be any time. I believe today is Tuesday, but again, I am willing to be corrected. So we're going to do a half-hour session of gentle Pilates. I'm going to draw your attention to this hard type of ball before we start, because those of you who feel quite stiff in the morning, in the afternoon, I'm going to show you a little technique. If you've got a tennis ball or a little round ball, it's just quite a simple thing you can do, and it's basically, the name for it is called a myofascial release, but without getting too complicated, it just helps loosen up the connective tissue around the body. So I am going to show you how it's done. I'm going to stand up. You may, well, you definitely cannot see my head, but you can see the ball. I've got it on my Pilates mat. I'm going to make sure I'm holding on to something because I'm standing on one leg, and I'm basically going to roll this ball just underneath my foot, just up and down. Okay. Now what I'm going to try and do is just show you, if I was to touch my toes without warming up, without doing anything, this is as far as I can go. Okay, so let's see if we can do this for a little bit. Okay. No, I'm laughing because my experiment now probably won't help at all, but we're just really massaging the balls of the feet all the way down the outside of the foot, the heel. I'm going to swap sides. Okay, it is me, I am here. You can just see my bottom half because we're going to do some Pilates in a minute, but I just wanted you to see this before we get started, because it's a nice way of just releasing tension in the connective tissues in the body, and it's amazing how much flexible we can become as a result of it. Okay, so I'm not going to go on for too long. It actually feels, it's that sort of thing where you can feel it sort of releasing tension. Can be a bit painful sometimes. Sometimes it feels sort of like, ooh. All right, so what I'm going to do is just see, and that is the difference. So I'm just going to bend my knees to roll up. I hope there was a difference. It felt different. It felt different. All right, so just a really interesting way. And I can't help thinking that if you're sat in bed and then you swing your legs over the side in the morning, even just doing it sitting down can really help. So underneath those feet. That is top tip number, probably only. Right then, shall we do, I'm just going to do about 2 exercises for each area. We're going to start seated. So if you do need to get that blood pumping around the body a little bit first, maybe go for a little walk around the house, do some step-ups on the stairs, just do some little push-ups. If you are feeling unwell, please don't take part. We need you feeling tip-top, hydrated and feeling on top of the world. So if we've done a little warm-up, you can pause, or if you need to go and do it, press pause and then come back to me. Otherwise, we're going to sit, feet hip-width apart, and we're just going to start sitting nice and tall, and then we're just going to draw that tummy button in, tuck that tail between our legs, and then again. So we're going to just sit up on those sitting bones. If it feels more comfortable doing it here, do it here. Don't worry if your toes are off the floor. It all depends on our level of ankle mobility. I've not got great amounts of ankle mobility. Mobility. So what we're focusing on is this little pelvic tilt. Okay, so we're just going to get a little bit of movement. I sometimes find I'm sort of clicking up and back on my sitting bones, which isn't always that comfortable. We're going to do one more of these, and then we're just going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to roll the shoulders up to the ears and back down. And we're just going to relax that breathing. We're going to look out onto the horizon. So you may be doing this looking at me, so it feels odd for me not to look at you, but I expect you're looking super. Just keep that nice long spine. And then we're just going to think about bringing these fingertips together. Now, I'd like you to imagine that belt. We're going to tighten it just a notch or two. So we're going to draw that tummy button in. We're going to keep those knees bent, facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to take a little twist one way. We're going to come back to center. See if you can keep that chin in line with the thumbs. Good. So, tighten that belt. Breathe out through that mouth as we move away from center. Breathing into center. Don't worry if that breathing is all over the place. Okay. The main thing is we want to relax the shoulders, lift that chest, get that little bit of rotation in the waist, and then we're going to relax those arms. We're going to hug these arms around those thighs. We're going to lift the chest over the thighs. Now push this tailbone. Imagine it's got a little stumpy tail like a Jack Russell dog. We're going to push it down into the mat, and then we're going to roll through that spine one segment at a time. Beautiful. Let's try that again. This time let's just draw that tummy button in, tighten that belt, breathe out. We're going to breathe in, and then we're going to breathe out. We're going to roll all the way back up. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Push that in, roll, stack those vertebrae one at a time until the head is the last to come. Now, let's see if we can take that little tilt, and this time we're going to feed down, draw that tummy button in, pause here. So we've almost just started to push that lower vertebra into the floor, but we're going to change our mind, breathe in, and then we're going to come all the way back up, long spine. Tilt, push that tail between your legs, and we're going to see if we can come down a little bit further. Good. Pause, breathe in, and we're going to come all the way up. And again. This time we're going to see if we can come all the way down. All the way down. We've got those legs bent, because we're still sort of warming up this spine. I'm going to have to move down my mat a little bit. Good. So those feet are hip width apart. Like we often do, we're going to start with a little bit of bridging. So my toes are at 12 o'clock, my knees are to the ceiling, my shoulders are relaxed. We're going to just find that neutral spine. So remember, if the fingers and the thumbs are placed, thumbs on your tummy button, fingers on your pubic bone, it's if they were on a clock face and the 6 and the 12 are the same level, we're going to find that neutral spine. So it's a natural curve here at the base of the spine. Now we're going to find that neutral spine, tighten the belt to hold that spine in position, relax the shoulders, and we're going to tilt the pelvis. We're going to squeeze the gluteals, so this is the gluteals, and we're going to peel this spine away from the mat. I've got warm clothes on today. It's the first day of rain, so you can't see me quite as well as possibly you should. I apologise. I may take these trousers off if I can bear it. Okay, I have got shorts on underneath. There's Sam the dog in the background. Now what we're looking for is almost this tabletop. So knees, hip bones, shoulders. We're going to come all the way back down. Now what quite often happens is we either press the knees together or we let them come out as we come up. Depends where we're strongest. So really focus, peeling that spine away from the mat, squeezing. Now I'm going to get you to hold this. We're going to take one arm, we're going to point it up to the ceiling, we're going to look towards the ceiling, we're going to bring this arm down. Squeeze these glutes. We're going to do the same on the other side, and we're going to bring it down. Now let's bring in that breathing. We're going to breathe in to prepare, we're going to breathe out, and we're just taking that arm as far as that shoulder's going to let us. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out. Now, what tends to happen while we're focusing on the arms is this. So every time every time I shout squeeze, we're going to squeeze out, okay? We're going to breathe out, and we're going to squeeze, breathing in. We're going to breathe out. We're going to squeeze, breathing in. We're going to breathe out. We're going to squeeze. We're going to breathe out. And we're going to squeeze. Then we're going to come all the way back down. Oh, let's stretch out those gluteals, shall we? Okay, well done. What I should have said at the start, if you need to come out of this at any point, do. Same goes with any exercises. And if you feel you want to use the pause for a few more, then of course you can do that. We can use the recovery, or we can choose not to. Now let's take one foot down and the other. Let's tighten that belt. Let's take our hip rolls. So notice my shoulder blades are just gently melting down into the mat. I'm not taking these knees so far that my shoulder blades have to come away from the mat. So we're just rolling, getting this lovely little bit of rotation through the spine. That belt is at notch 3 or 4 all the time. So we're always thinking about drawing those hip bones together. Shoulders are soft and relaxed. Spine is long. Breathing out, breathing in. And then we're going to walk these feet hip width apart. Just find that neutral spine again. Then we're really drawing these hip bones together. We're going to relax the shoulders. We're going to breathe in. We're going to bring one knee into tabletop. Now, what we're going to work on is single leg stretch. Okay, so you can either do this single leg, or we can bring both knees into tabletop. What we're going to do 8 on the left. We're going to do 8 on the right. So we are going to keep that belt tight, shoulders relaxed. Now, as we get to this point, don't let this back arch away from the floor, okay? Really important. This is where we're going to build that abdominal strength, that core strength, okay? This is going to support your back when you're doing your shopping, out in the garden, day-to-day activities. It's that ability to control the position of that spine and that pelvis as we place stress on it. So if that's too much, just take this leg down and finish your 8 with one leg in tabletop. Okay? And then we're going to just lower this leg with control on a breath out if you can. Breathe in, tighten that belt, breathe out. Let's do our 8 on the right. So we're breathing out, breathing in. Remember, the higher that toe is, the easier it's going to be for this spine to control its motion, its alignment. Should I say the spine won't be doing anything, it'll be the muscles attached to it. Good. So the lower this toe goes, the more that back wants to arch and the muscles have to work harder. But the main thing is that you can control this movement, shoulders are relaxed and we're not overloading you. Okay, one more, we're breathing out and we're breathing in. And I think that deserves a little hug and just a little roll up and down that lower spine. So we're going to roll like a ball. Roll like a ball. Good work, everyone. Okay, so what I will do, we'll do one more set of abdominals. I'm just going to see if we can add a challenge. So I'm going to give you a lower level challenge, then a stronger challenge. So it's going back to that single leg stretch. We're going to see if we can just take one leg into tabletop, but as before, if you want to work with 2 legs, we're going to float these arms, both of them up to the ceiling, as we did with that bridge. Now, what we're going to practice is taking that left arm overhead while you're in tabletop. We're breathing out. Now, as this happens, we don't want these ribs to pop. We don't want the back to arch. So imagine a steel thread connecting the top of the pelvis to the base of the ribs. Okay? Now we're breathing out. We're breathing in. Let's see if we can take single leg stretch, arm float at the same time. Breathing out, breathing in. Good. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and in. Ah! I'm being squished by Sam. I almost have the door on me. Hello, Sam. One more if we can. Out, and then in. Good work. Okay. Now we're going to see if we can bring the arms down. Take this leg down. That's if you can see anything at all. Thank you, Sam. Let's see if we can take the right leg into tabletop. And again, floating both arms to the ceiling. Come here now. And we're going to see if we can start with that right arm float. Breathing out and in. Good. The right arm float out and then in. Good. Now we're going to do, there's Thomas as well. And in, we're breathing out. Good. And in. Lovely. So we've got that belt at 3 or 4. For some of you, it may be really challenging to do this. If it is, just see if you can take that toe higher, reduce the range of the arm a little bit. Breathing out and in. Good. We're going to take one more breath out and in, and again we're going to bring this knee towards the shoulder, and then we're going to draw this knee across the body, keeping the shoulder blades in contact with the mat to the opposite shoulder, getting a nice little hip stretch, and then we're going to change legs. So we'll bring this knee in. Good. We're going to hug it into that same shoulder, and then we're going to draw this knee across the body. Isn't that right, Sam? Yes, he says. Okay, so you'll feel this stretch in this area here. It's actually sort of that pleasant, but can be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. All right, so we're going to roll over onto our sides. So let's just let these knees fall to the side, bring ourselves over. And we're going to do just some little clams. So we want the heels in line with your tailbone, hips stacked. I'm going to do a slightly easier clam version today, so where the knees are on top of each other. But remember the one where we take the leg in this position. So if you want to work it a little bit harder, we can go here. I'm going to stack my knees. Okay, so Sam's relaxed, he's right behind you, and we're going to draw this tummy button in. So imagine I'm trying to just post a letter between your waist and the floor, and then we're just going to open, we're going to control it shut, we're going to open, breathing out, we're going to control it shut. So I'm working in sets of pretty much 8 today, and shut. Good. So we're just allowing this hip to almost rotate. So the hip bone is rotating in that socket, and we're having to squeeze these muscles here to work it. Good. That's lovely. Keep these shoulders relaxed. Nice long spine. Don't forget to just keep that belt muscle active. And we've got one more of these. One more of these. Breathing out. Breathing in. And then we're going to lengthen through those legs, and we're going to roll onto your front. Now, this is where we may need something underneath the forehead. Okay, you may need something under the forehead, you may not. But trying not to let that sort of situation happen. Okay, so try and lengthen through that head as much as we can. We are going to see if we can get a little bit of flexibility going on here. So we're going to start just taking those arms into a W-ish position, elbows lower than the shoulders. Tighten that belt, tighten the bottom, just gently push on those forearms, and we're just going to lift this chest. We're looking straight down towards the mat. So you may want to watch this one, and then lower. Now, if that's okay, and you don't need the hands, maybe bring the hands to the side, draw the shoulders away from the ears, squeeze those bottom muscles. We're just going to lift the chest and we're going to lower. Now don't let this belly dome into the mat, okay? Don't let this belly dome into the mat. We're just going to lift. Good. Keeping that little orange between the chin and the chest. Okay. If I had that ball, I'm going to put it between my chin and the chest. We're going to squeeze the bottoms, reach at the outside of the ankles and down. So draw those shoulders down. Draw those shoulder blades down that back and down. I think this is number 8. So we're just going to draw that tummy button in, lengthen, lift the chest away from the mat, bring it down. And let's see if we can bring ourselves into our 4-point kneeling position, and let's see if we can take it into cat stretch. So we're going to breathe out and we're going to breathe in. So here, we don't want those shoulders here. Draw them down away from your ears. We want those knees directly under the hips. We don't want this, okay? Don't want this. Don't want this. Okay. Shall I stop saying what we don't want and say what we do want? We want a nice tilt of that pelvis. Draw that spine to the ceiling. Drop the chin to the chest. Push through the palms and then come back. Good. And breathe out. Now this time we're going to come into child's pose. So we're just going to gently slide these elbows behind the knees. Let that forehead rest on the mat. Good. Okay. And then we're going to see if we can bring these hands forwards. We're going to lower ourselves down onto this mat again. So we are going to complement our shoulder bridge with a little bit of bottom work and swimming legs. Okay. We can support the forehead, relax the shoulders. Now squeeze the bottom, bring this leg down. Okay. Squeeze that bottom, bring this leg down. Now what we tend to do is this. We tend to bend the knee and it's working the hamstring but not the bottom. So see if you can straighten this leg. We're going to do 8 on the left, 8 on the right. I've got no idea if this is my right or left leg. Now see if we can relax the shoulders, tighten this belt, squeeze, lift from the hip, squeeze that bottom muscle and down, breathing out, breathing in. Good. Breathing out. And then when we've done 8 on the right or the left, we'll change legs. Good. What I really like about this movement, it's so simple. And we used to always put arms in with it, but something gets lost in translation. So whereas we will put some arms with it in a minute, I just want us to focus on these glutes. When they're strong, they really support everything we do. When they're not strong, the lower back takes over or the hamstrings take over. Game over. Okay, now let's see from this relaxed shoulder position if we can take opposite arm, opposite leg. Full swim. Breathing out, breathing in. Now as we reach, don't be tempted to overreach. So keep drawing those shoulder blades down and we're just using that, almost that lift and lengthen. It's a lengthen. Good. So let's see if we can just do a couple more. Keep that belt-like muscle active. Let's do 3 more if you can. So you're drawing the tummy button away from the mat, lengthening, keeping the shoulders, although we're working them, don't let them sort of come up here. Keep them in that workable position. Good. And relax. And from this prone position, we're going to come straight into child's pose. We're going to come up. This time we're going to reach with those fingertips, let that head relax down, breathe out. Good. And then we're going to come into our kneeling position, bring ourselves into this split position, this Z sit. Now this doesn't work for everyone, so if you find you're sort of like this, just sit in a nice straddle position, and what we're going to do is lengthen through the spine, relax the shoulders away from the ears, hands down by that bottom, and we're just going to gently breathe out as we reach over, breathe in. Now we're going to do one in this position. Now if you're happy in this position, stay here. If you are enjoying the Z sit position, we're going to do exactly the same. We're lifting that rib cage out of the hips. The important thing here is that we just change the position of those knees after 3 on each side. Good. So we're just reaching. See this supporting elbow, just softening it as we come down. And then if we're in the Z sit position, we're just going to change that position. Good. And again. So it's a really nice mobility and flexibility move, whether we're in straddle or in Z sit. Good. Breathe out. Keep tightening that belt. Keep lengthening, keep relaxing those shoulders. Good. So when we've done 3 on each side, we're going to all come into this position, just lengthen through those legs. We're going to open up those shoulders and just release any tension. Good. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to see if we can bring the feet this way, and we're going to do those clams in this position. So heels in line with that bottom, hips stacked, head supported. We can just relax this shoulder, use that hand for balance if we need it. We're going to breathe out and we're going to breathe in. You can see me just messing around with my foot position. I can usually just tell if we're in the wrong place. We want this to be felt in that back pocket of the jeans area. Okay, so if you think about where jeans pockets are, that's where we want to be working. If you're feeling it here, sometimes it means the feet are maybe too far forwards or too far back. So just play around with that position, have a little check, make sure that tailbone is in line. Good, and we're going to do 8 of these, guys. So hands wherever you feel comfortable, just keep sliding those shoulder blades down that back. Good. Okay, that's it there. We're going to push ourselves back up to this seated position. We're going to take a nice straddle position and we're going to just open out this chest. Good. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, bring it in. Would help if it was a little bit more central, wouldn't it? Okay, so think about these shoulders, slide them away from the ears, think about this belt. Good. Now, let's think about opening and breathing out. Good. So we're going to breathe in. This time, as we breathe out, we're just gently lifting that chest over that thigh, breathing in. Good. Relax. Breathe out. Breathe in. Bring it down, because I have to actually move forwards a bit. I was touching the wall, so you won't be able to see my feet, but you will be able to see me. Now, let's breathe in. Let's breathe out. So there's a little bit of rotation. Relax the shoulders. Breathe out. Let's do one more either side. So we tend to do this. Slide those shoulder blades down. Tighten that belt. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then we're going to relax it down. We're going to slide these feet together. We're going to lift up, and this time we're going to tighten the belt, lift this chest over the thighs. We're going to breathe out. And we're going to breathe in. Now if you want to increase that stretch, draw the toes up to the ceiling. We're going to breathe out. And we're going to breathe in. Good. Okay, one more. Breath out. Breath in. And we're going to bring those knees in. Give those knees a little hug. Thank you. That was a little 30-minute Pilates session. Just hitting lots of different areas. Nothing too major. And thank you for your time. I'm hoping you feel a little bit more flexible now. And keep up the good work. We've painted this room yellow. It's the colour of hope. Okay, lovely to see you guys.